Hello, everybody. This is Gareth at Skewed and Reviewed, and I'm coming at you from Arizona this morning. I hope everyone's doing very well. At the outset, I want to say I'm sorry for the basic conditions we have here for this thing. This was put together pretty quick, and of course, we've got the magazine in layout, and there's all the chaos going on. So, I originally had planned to film at some live locations around the area, but logistically, it just became too difficult to get it done in the time. So I figured let's focus on the content rather than the bells and whistles, and we'll go from there. So obviously, especially you folks at Emerald City Comic Con back in our other home of Seattle, would love to be out and about doing the convention activities right now. By the way, we have some special guests with us. We have Flynn and Seamus, and they'll be popping in and out from time to time. So if you see that motion in the background, that's exactly what it is. So anyway, we're going to be doing essentially online panels for you folks. We'll be doing a follow-up in a couple weeks on Twitch where you can ask your questions and stuff to get more clarification. This is the first of three. We'll have an upcoming video games and tech one, a lot of talk about the new consoles, and then we'll have a TV-related one. So right now we're going to be doing the movies of 2021 to 2023. Now I want to stress at the outset, this is very up in the air right now because as you know with all the stuff going on in the world situation, last week we were all prepping for a convention and then all of a sudden poof, and in the last week we've had numerous conventions cancellations. We've had film screenings pushed back. We've had film release dates pushed back. We've had stories of films and TV shows that were in production have been halted. So obviously, you know, we don't know where we're going to be at. 3 months from now, everything could be getting back to semblance of normal, or it could be in another situation, maybe sooner, maybe later. So let's try to dwell on only the positive things right now. And we're going to have a look at what we are anticipating seeing. So we're going to start off in 2021, and Guillermo del Toro is supposed to kick off the year with his version of Pinocchio, and it's got a very interesting cast. Ron Perlman, Tilda Swinton, Ewan McGregor, Christoph Waltz, so very curious to see what they have there. Now remember, 2021 not so much, but as we get into the later years, a lot of this is still not before a camera. It's all right now, I don't want to say theoretical, but basically if you know the Hollywood process, they have the script gets approved, they set the cast, they set the director, they set a filming date, but as we know, when they start filming, things happen. Then how long does it need in post-production? How long does it need in pre-production before they start filming? Then you have things like the New Mutants that has been sitting on the shelf forever, was supposed to come out and delayed again. So again, take this as the announced intention release date. So we'll go from there. Another film of note is Mortal Kombat. Now Mortal Kombat 11 has been a very popular video game. Lots of new characters being added to it through DLC. We just got news that Spawn is going to be a playable character very soon. So what we have here is a new interpretation of it. We're told it is definitely going to be R-rated. You may not know most of the cast, but Makad Brooks is in it, and you'll know him from the CW shows. Very interesting to see how this plays out. And that's due to drop in January. And of course, you know, we have some other things. There's plenty of really good quality dramas and things of that nature. But since this is a pop culture audience, that is what we're going to focus on mainly. Pop culture, animation, maybe a little bit of horror. Yeah, a lot of horror. And we'll go from there. And as I said, if you see me grab from my cup, it's because it is 7 in the morning when I'm recording this. So yeah, have at it. You get me as you get me. Anyway, next up is a new take on Cinderella, and this is due from Columbia Pictures, not Disney, in February. Now here's the interesting thing. Listen to this cast, everybody. You have Pierce Brosnan, Billy Porter, Indina Menzel, and I'm curious to see what they come up with. Now, one that we're all really excited about, and I'm hoping it's not going to be delayed, is Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. This is, of course, the next film due out from Marvel. All right, so let's do a little bit of framing for this one. We all know Black Widow is supposed to come out in May. Disney has said they have no intention to change the release date on that. Boom, it's coming out. Well, we also knew that Mulan was intended to come out even though they were going to change the China and other uh, territory release dates. As of now, Black Widow's still a go for May, so we're looking at Shang-Chi and The Legend of the Ten Rings to be coming out in February. Heard a little talk that we'll get to see the proper Mandalorian in it. This is the next Marvel character in the expanded universe. They're really ramping up Phase 4 at this point, so hopefully it'll be as good as we are anticipating. I know, again, we're getting into that whole area of, we're hoping that around Comic-Con, San Diego Comic-Con in July is when we're anticipating seeing some of this, but of course this has also been the problem with the uncertainty over the convention situation. I know for a fact things that were supposed to debut in a couple weeks at CinemaCon have been pushed back, so we don't know whether the trailers will be released at a later date or they will be dropped on us via the web, combination of the two, or they're going to save them for conventions down the road. So again, that's very unprecedented territory right now for the Hollywood studios, so we'll have to just play it out and see how it all comes out. So briefly mention a couple of things. You've got a movie called Monster Problems that's coming out with Paramount Studio. You got a new Channing Tatum film called Dog, and then you have a new film from M. Night Shyamalan that has not been titled yet, so we're really curious to see how he follows up his last film, Glass, so it'd be very interesting. He seems to be on a bit of an upswing now. One that I'm going to say take this with a grain of salt, and simply because I try not to be a pessimist, but unfortunately sometimes situations put you in that. Many of you may remember there was a Logan's Run remake that has been bannered about for the better part of 20 years. I remember speaking at a convention up in Vancouver, just outside of Vancouver, and they insisted to me that the film was going into production just down the road in 2 weeks. And then the director left and everything in turmoil. Then a new director, then and you know the drill, 20 years later we're still waiting. So we're supposed to get an Uncharted film, and it's supposed to have Tom Holland, Mark Wahlberg, Antonio Banderas, so on and so forth. We know the film is definitely moving forward. What I'm kind of in the mentality of I'm going to wait until I actually start filming it, until I really get rolling, because my attitude now is, okay, sure, I can say it's almost a year away, but I want to see this film actually go before the camera, and I want to see them say we've wrapped filming before I say, oh, it's coming out next March, because I could see this easily being pushed back to later in the summer, later in the year, that sort of thing. So for those of you who would like something a little crazier, there's going to be a brand new Jackass film. So if your idea of fun is watching a bunch of people maim themselves, then you can definitely have that to look forward to. We're hoping for a new Tomb Raider sequel. It doesn't have a title as of yet, in March, but the cast from the last film will be back. We're told to expect another Paranormal Activity film, so hey, those are making money. The Boss Baby 2 is scheduled to come out. And one that I'm kind of interested in that it's really fallen in below the radar. And I know it's not pop culture related, but bear with me on this one, because you'll eventually see a connection down the road. Mel Gibson is on a bit of an upswing right now career-wise. There's talk of another Lethal Weapon film to round out the series. Mel has insisted that he wants to do another Passion of the Christ film called Resurrection that essentially deals with, as the title, resurrection. And he's going to have Jim Caviezel back, so on and so forth. And he's looking at doing this at the end of March, just in time for Easter. So it'll be interesting to see if this comes out, if it has the same reaction that the other film did. This was made for a very little amount of money and had, just tremendous box office. So, who knows? Another thing to keep an eye out for is Fast and Furious 9. It was originally scheduled to come out this summer. As we were told the other day, it is being pushed back. And so it's looking at April of 2021, and this is the next film. They've got at least 10 planned right now. I know a lot of the talk has been that 10 will be a good number. They're going to wrap it up at 10. But if these things keep making over $1 billion at the box office, I could see it being very difficult to stop making them until people stop coming to see them. And, it's interesting because the first couple of films, first three, weren't really that appealing to me because they, street racing, and then they decided to change it into a more action adventure series. And yes, it is so ridiculously over the top, but you can't help just getting caught up in the spectacle. I remember one recently where they had an extended chase on a runway, and we were watching it at the theater on our press screening, and they were going on forever chasing this plane and all these action scenes as the plane continues down the runway. And my wife leaned over and said, just exactly how long is this runway? They'd be in the next state by now. So, you have to take that with a wink and a smile with a lot of these films, but you can look forward to that. One I'm really excited about, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, due May 7th of 2021. And of course, we have Benedict Cumberbatch, Elizabeth Olsen, Benedict Wong, and Tilda Swinton back. And we're hearing all sorts of interesting rumors that some of the other characters might start crossing back and forth as we've been seeing in the Marvel films, where there's a lot of talk about, we might see this villain, we might see that villain. And so we're waiting till the filming begins. But the interesting thing was Christian Bale has apparently been announced, and he will be playing a villain in the film. Now, my thought on it is this. Christian Bale, very good, very in-demand actor. Tried his hand at Terminator, did the 3 Batman films. It was my understanding that he wanted to kind of move away from the studio special effects laden franchise films. He'd done that. From what I understand, financially, he doesn't need to do those type of films. And so what I took from this is that, sure, I'm pretty sure he's getting good compensation for it, but there must be something pretty solid for him to say, yeah, I'm willing to commit to this, because not only are you committing to the film, you're committing to a fairly elaborate PR schedule around this film. And so there must be something really solid that has attracted him. So we're really, really hoping for good things out of that. For the younger viewers, DreamWorks is going to be having Spirit Riding Free. And next May, if all goes well, and here's the two-step, I'm going to say right now, I will be shocked if these both come out on the same day. I expect one or possibly both of them to move. But if you're a fan of Keanu Reeves, get ready for a nice double feature, because we have The Matrix 4 and John Wick Chapter 4 both scheduled to drop on May 21st of next year. Obviously, Matrix 4, Keanu's back as Neo. John Wick Chapter 4, he's back as John Wick. And of course, expect plenty of action in both of these. Now, another one, I don't like to keep harping on it, but I have to keep saying what it is based on the current information, because everything I'm giving you is as factual as I can give it to you as of this moment that we are recording. And I'm really excited to see the brand new Emma Stone film, Cruella, which is a live-action Disney film based on the life/origin of Cruella de Vil from 101 Dalmatians. How did she get to be this person? How did she get to be such an infamous villainess? So interesting. One that we heard about at CinemaCon, about a year ago, 2 years ago, is Micronauts. Now, this is apparently Paramount Pictures doing it. It is based on the toy line that came out. I had them as a child, absolutely loved them. There was a Marvel Comics series, so I'm hoping. It's about a bunch of people, inner space, small, big adventures. Some people said, the bad guy was a Darth Vader ripoff, so on and so forth. But they were a fantastic and ever-expanding line of toys. One of the great things about them is that you could take parts from one, combine them with parts of the others to make your own vehicles, your own characters, and then back. And, a little more complicated than Lego, but definitely a lot of fun. Another thing we wanted to talk about is Jurassic World Dominion. That's due on June 11th. Colin Trevorrow's back, and of course Chris Pratt, Bryce Dallas Howard, Sam Neill and Laura Dern are also back, Jeff Goldblum, Jake Johnson, and others. And of course, with a title like that, do you really need any clarification? This is the new Jurassic World movie. Now, a little later, we're going to be talking about a rumored Jurassic World television series but that will come during the television segment that we're going to be recording at another time. So just bear that in mind. Another one to take a look at in June is The Batman. And this is Matt Reeves' screenplay with Robert Pattinson taking his turn as the Dark Knight. We've seen some brief video. We've seen some brief, what's the word I'm looking at? Pictures from the set, that sort of thing. Still not sold on the bat suit. I do like the look of the Batmobile, so we'll give it a chance and we'll see how that comes out. Hopefully Batman will not sparkle in the sunlight and chase around a trailer park girl, but you know, another story, another day. And another film I'm curious about, Sing 2, and this is obviously a follow-up from the original animated film Sing, and we have, you know, most of the cast, it seems, Matthew McConaughey, Reese Witherspoon, Scarlett Johansson, Taron Egerton, so on and so forth, so we'll be looking forward to that. Another film I'm putting in the Believe It When the Cameras Start Filming. I know they have every intention to. There's been some discussion about it recently. Lucas will not be involved. Steven Spielberg will not be involved. Rumored James Mangold, who did the Wolverine film, is going to be directing, so let's hope. But Indiana Jones 5 is currently scheduled for July of 2021. Harrison Ford has said they're expecting to go forward with that soon. We're also expecting to see Spider-Man Far From Home, the sequel, and that should be out next year as well. And so hopefully everything will proceed as planned. I know Tom Holland has recently said that he really liked the script for that. He thinks it's going to be something special. And remember, this is the one that was all mired in the controversy about would it be part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, would it not? And fortunately, the two sides reached another agreement, so this will be in. We're hearing all sorts of rumors that like Spawn may be making an appearance, that sort of thing, or vice versa, that Spider-Man may be appearing in the next Spawn film. I know, teaser. And we'll go from there. We have Space Jam 2 coming with LeBron James, Don Cheadle, Klay Thompson, Anthony Davis, you know, another one that I've been hearing about forever. Hopefully it will make it out for fans of that. This film is due out July 23rd is the date, and this is Mission Impossible 7. Now, for those of you that may or may not be aware, Mission Impossible 7 and 8 in some ways, but mainly 7, is caught in the situation that you guys find yourself in that they were filming in Italy. Yeah, exactly. And we know what's going on over there, so production was halted. And so they're waiting for things to get to a state where they can resume filming. But Tom Cruise, Haley Atwell, Ving Rhames, Simon Pegg, some very interesting people. I can never say the poor lady's name right. Palm Clementif, who is from the Guardians of the Galaxy series, and many others. So it'll be very interesting to see what they have. Now, speaking of Guardians of the Galaxy, James Gunn has got his new version of the Suicide Squad getting ready to come out, and that's scheduled for August of next year. Idris Elba, Margot Robbie, Viola Davis, Joel Kinnaman, and others. So it is a reboot, we're told, but more of a soft reboot. I've heard some people say, well, it will have aspects of the last film, but it'll essentially set a new base and move forward from that. So we will see how that comes out. There's a couple of more family things in the planning for September. One called The Bad Guys, another one, the My Little Pony film. We're told that there's going to be a, Tom Hanks is of course attached to this. Again, hope the man is doing well. He and his wife, as you heard, are in quarantine right now in Australia. But he's supposed to be involved with an Elvis film, so be curious to see how that goes. Baz Luhrmann, a very, very good and solid director, is attached to it. You have Halloween Ends, which is coming out October 15th. We're supposed to get Halloween Kills this year, and this is the next chapter in the series that has been really interesting, where Danny McBride and David Gordon Green basically said, we're going to forget Halloween 2 on whatever happened. We're going to make a direct sequel to the original film and go from there. Now, one that I know everybody, well, not everybody, most people are going to be thrilled over Hamilton, and we've got The Heights coming out soon from Lin-Manuel Miranda. There's a lot of emphasis on, Cats bombed at the box office. But there's a lot of hope to try to bring musicals back in, not a big way and put them all. We saw flirtations with this over the years with Chicago, Dreamgirls, stuff like that. But what we're having right now is Hamilton, and what they've done is they're basically doing a film version of the famed Broadway production that won all the Tony Awards. Disney won very aggressive bidding rights for that, and I think this is good for them because they have Lin-Manuel doing projects for them, doing his award-winning composing, so I'm really interested to see what he comes up with next. Addams Family 2 is scheduled for October of 2021, and so same cast: Oscar Isaac, Charlize Theron, Chloe Grace Moretz, Finn Wolfhard, Nick Kroll, Snoop Dogg, Bette Midler, and more back, so we're looking forward to that. November 5th has Thor: Love and Thunder, so excited to see what they do end up with that. We've been hearing some stories recently that some of the Guardians of the Galaxy may appear in this one, because if you remember, well, I probably shouldn't say, it might be considered a spoiler, but if you haven't seen Endgame by now, please plug your ears. As we know, at the end of Endgame, Thor went off with some of the Guardians, and we're told that is going to be a basis for Thor: Love and Thunder. Now, of course, you have a really interesting cast. They also are showing Christian Bale associated with this one. So this is where the confusion is. Some people are saying it's Thor: Love and Thunder where he's back playing the bad guy. Some people say that it's Doctor Strange. So why don't we just settle it up and say he's going to be in the Marvel Universe and go from there? Fantastic, because as of now there has been no official word from Marvel, so that's the key that you have to keep in mind. A lot of rumors, a lot of attachments, a lot of quotes, no official word. Fantastic Beasts 3 is moving forward for November 12th, 2021, and I expect all of the people, including Johnny Depp and Jude Law from the last film, to be back. There is talk of a new Dungeons and Dragons movie, so hopefully we'll see that come to fruition. We have Avatar 2 scheduled. This one is the first of 4 planned Avatar films. This thing has been in production forever. They keep pushing the release date back because it is incredibly advanced. They're apparently going to be doing proper 3D like the original Avatar, not like this myriad of, well, we're going to shoot the film normally, run it through a lab, charge you the surcharge, and call it 3D. It's not 3D, folks. There's a, I've had some people say, oh, it's actually close. No. You look at films that were actually filmed with those state-of-the-art 3D cameras, yeah, very clearly. I mean, look at The Hobbit. They used the higher frame rate with the advanced 3D. It actually looked like a play was being put on in front of you. So looking forward to that. It's supposed to be a big segment of water involved in this one, and really excited to see where they come up with. Hotel Transylvania 4, the films keep making money. They're going to keep making them. Black Adam with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is scheduled for Warner Brothers in December of 2021, as is Sherlock Holmes 3. Another film that I've been hearing about forever and kind of in that believe it when I see it is Wicked. So if you're a fan of the Wizard of Oz, you can finally get some information on that. Now, changing gears, we're going to move forward yet again, leap over to 2022. Now, this is the one I really want to put a little ribbon on and say, remember, these are announced dates with the situation of the world right now. Many of these things could end up falling back. They could end up falling into disarray and not happening because all it takes is something as simple as a star or starlet being, committed to multiple other projects. They locked out a window of time to film it, and then all of a sudden they say, oh, great, because you delayed this thing 3 months, 4 months, whatever, I'm committed to this project, and right after that I have this project, and after that I have that project. So either they find a way to work around it, or the studio says, okay, we'll recast it, which sometimes gets the producers to say, you know what, no, this isn't going to work because we had to have this person. So, grain of salt, remember, a lot of these are not going to be filmed as of yet. So we have Sesame Street kicking off January of 2022. We have the Minecraft movie, which is due from Warner Brothers in March of 2022. As we move toward the summer months, and of course you're going to find this one a little lighter than the other one, but bear with me on that one. We have Shazam 2, which again, expecting the same cast back, Zach Levi and others. Mark Strong did fantastic in the last one. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse 2, the animated follow-up, and that's due in April of 2022. And of course, Black Panther 2 is tentatively scheduled for May 6th of 2022. And of course, same people, Chadwick Boseman, Letitia Wright, Denai Guerrier, and Martin Freeman, Marvel Studios films. So we'll look forward to that. Now, another one, believe it when you see it, The Flash. This thing has been on and off more times than I can imagine over the years, but apparently they are looking, they being Warner Brothers, to bring in July of next 2022, they are looking to bring Ezra Miller back as the Flash for a new film. Now, the trick with the DC films is that they try to lay out a multi-level approach similar to Marvel does, but unfortunately when one of the films misfires, it has a habit to derail the entire plan. I mean, it's ironic to me that the biggest successes for them have been Aquaman and Wonder Woman, which were two films they did not have as much hope for as they did for things like the Justice League and Batman vs. Superman, which, while money makers, based on the amount of money spent producing them and promoting them, to give you an example, one of the films made over 800 and something million dollars at the worldwide box office, which under any normal circumstances would be considered quite a hit. Well, the problem was, due to the extensive promotion and production work, their accountants had kind of looked at $1 billion as the number they were shooting for. So it basically came in under expectations. Hollywood math being what it is, it's hard to say whether it cost them money or not, but as you know, it derailed things. So following up with Derailed, we talked about Mission Impossible. That's due for August 5th, 2022, assuming production doesn't get too far delayed. We spoke about Aquaman, and the Aquaman 2 film, directed by James Wan again, is scheduled to swim into theaters on December 16th, 2022. So hopefully that will still come out as planned. Now, as we swing into 2023, this is where it gets even harder, because you're really going off into a distance where really uncharted territory. Right now we have a lot of things like another Avatar film. We have talk of DreamWorks Animations, that sort of thing. So obviously these things are going to be coming. Now, people are going to ask, and I know I'm going to try to nip some of the questions in the bud that we're going to get when we do the live action follow-up, but I want to make sure that I at least address them. New Star Wars films. As of now, we don't know. Officially, they're taking a break. Officially, the future is on Disney Plus, so you're going to see the new episode of The Mandalorian. You're going to see the Cassian Andor series. You're going to see some other projects coming in that extended universe, the Obi-Wan Kenobi series, that sort of thing. Beyond this right now, we have not heard. So hopefully we're going to be hearing something really, really soon about that. Now, until then, that is a pretty quick and our best rundown that I can give you at this time. So I hope you enjoyed this. We'll be filming the game one fairly soon. We'll be filming the television one later this afternoon. I hope they're all going to be up by the end of the day today. But for now, I hope you enjoy this. Let me know. Give me some feedback. Again, I apologize for the basic conditions. This was put together very quick, and I just wanted to make sure you had some content today versus running around while we're trying to do the magazine and layout and, filming in and around the area. We might do something like that. So this is kind of my way to say I'm really sorry you folks didn't have your convention I've done virtual conventions before, but there's a big difference between this and standing at the podiums and doing it. Part of it was I have some speaking engagements lined up for later in the summer, and I wanted to basically be able to tell people who might be getting involved helping promote us and that sort of thing that even if the convention should not happen, we have a backup to do them virtually and distribute the information, so on and so forth. So until then, I hope you're going to like the video game one. Biggest trick with that is I don't have any of the trailers and stuff yet, and it's hard to stick them into the thing. We normally don't start getting those until May, but we'll see. We'll do the best we can with it. Until then, folks, take care, and thank you so much for listening.